Yo, what's up everybody? This is ShowtimeDr, here to give you your 4-star Advent guide for Taiyo's Advent, the current hot Advent right now, 49 energy. Really important, definitely bring a Ruby along because she's going to increase your recovery amount by 100%. You got either the other two heroes, that's up to you, but definitely make sure you bring a Ruby, and I'll show you why. So right here, I'm gonna go ahead and show you my party. Let's go ahead and make sure I put Ruby in here. So Cordelia is very important, very. There are 3 heroes that you need to remember for this. Cordelia, Ramu, Ruby. But we'll start with Cordelia. So if you notice her leadership, 20% extra defense, go ahead and put her as leader. It's a toss-up between her and Ramu. Ramu is 20% HP, so either or. I prefer the defense, but hey, you can get both if you get a friend Ramu or Cordelia. So first thing to remember in this fight, never use anything except her 1. Do not use her 2 and 3 at all in this dungeon. Reason why, you want the taunt. Her 1 should be talented so that it has an attack decrease buff. Chance on hit, and the Searing Rage stacks. So what does Searing Rage do for you? Well, you're going to go ahead and have a chance to get him when you're attacking or taking damage. But the most important thing, it restores 3% of HP at the end of every turn for each Searing Rage stack. Max of 3, so that's 9%. With that thing that I already showed you earlier about Ruby doubling any type of passive healing, it's going to go to 18%. So really important, really there. Reason you don't do her 2 is because it'll expend all the Searing Rage stacks. You're like, well, ShowtimeDr, but there's damage immunity. Most of the stuff in here has penetration damage, so it doesn't even matter. It goes right through the shields. And then her 3rd also expends the Searing Rage stacks. You always want her to have that regen. She is your lifeline in here. Cordelia goes down. Maybe you'll be able to res her, but if Cordelia goes down, you're in for some pain for sure. Next most important hero, Ramu. So if you notice, my Ramu is actually only 57 here. You only really need to get her to 56 and you should be good. Also, if you notice, no purple stars on either Cordelia or Ramu. So what makes Ramu so good? Well, on her 1, she's got a stun. You can actually stun the first guy, not the 2nd or 3rd guy, but you can stun the first guy. You got some heals here. You got that revive you're going to be using. You don't have her 60, so you don't have the extra revive, her own personal revive, but what you do have is every time she takes a turn, regen and 10% of health. That's going to go ahead and jump to 20% just because Ruby's in the dungeon. There's her leadership like I was talking about earlier, so really important hero there. Also, one thing I forgot real quick before we get off Cordelia here. So, benchmarks, 13,000 health. Almost 3,400 defense. Also, what's important, check out her runes. So you're starting to see a pattern. HP increase, HP increase. Combo breaker. HP recovery. HP recovery is paramount in here. Upgrade your green and your blues because the primary stat on your blues is defense, your primary stat on your green is HP. And whichever rune, as you can see, these are mostly offensive stats, it's just how slot 6 is. Whichever rune ends up getting the HP, get that as high as possible. As you can see, every 3 skill ups, your passives are going to go up, your secondary stats here. Your primary stats are always going to go up with every skill up. Or rune upgrade, rather. And then this, 10% defense twice and HP twice. Honestly, you can do that the other way around. Just depends which one has the better rune set for you, so don't worry too much about that. Then as you see here, 11% HP recovery. 13 safer. 13 seems to be the benchmark that most people are going for, but you can still do it with 11, so. And then, right here on your Ruby, thing about her, she's going to be removing those attack and defense debuffs, or buffs rather, along with Rue at the beginning of turns. And Rue's actually removing shields and stuff, but she can remove stuff with her 1. But this is the key skill right here. Decrease all skill cooldowns by 1. when attacked, restore 20% of HP when cooldown is decreased. So as she's getting hit, as she's hitting, she's reducing cooldowns with her 2, reducing cooldowns with her 1. Her ult's just there to hit everybody really hard. She's gonna go down a couple times during the fight, but don't worry too much about it. Now I had to mix and match. Unfortunately for me, I can't take advantage of this wind attack right here. But you know, I brought Ellie basically for her passive heal that she does here. Every time she defends, 20% of allies, 40% of her own life. And then her 2 has a good deal, has decreased attack. Sleep's only going to work on the first guy. Also has poison. And her 1 has brand, it also puts up shock, so some dots. Her 3 really doesn't matter in this fight for the most part. And then you know Rue, you should know Rue by now. She's passively removing shields and damage immunities. And then she's removing abnormal statuses on your party, which the taunt in here can actually lower your attack. More on that later. With her 1, she's going to go ahead and have a chance to heal for a lot and remove a buff situation. Or her 2, little heal there, and then on her 3 is a res. The res increases target's attack and decreases all their skill cooldowns. So when you get Ruby up with it, you just want her to hit really hard. So we're going to go ahead right now. I've recorded this like 3 times. Hopefully the video is going to be stable this time. And we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to know until this OBS is telling me. But hopefully you guys can see me just fine, and hopefully the fight's going to be okay. Okay, so this first guy, the issue with him is he has a resolve. Everyone in this dungeon has a resolve, by the way. Looming Death, everything can basically proc on this first guy. My Rue actually has Looming Death, so hopefully that'll proc. And you see this here, what I was talking about, decreases damage taken from taunted enemies. He has an AoE taunt, so when Rue gets rid of that, that's going to go ahead and, you know, increase everyone's damage here. Oh look, Looming Death procced. You know what, guys, give me a second. I'm going to actually turn up the RAM for this, because I notice it's delaying just a slight bit. Hopefully it's recording okay. Give me like a brief second here, guys. Where is it? Blue stacks. Please, blue stacks, do not lag on me in this video. I've recorded this video so many times. I only have so many charges. Alright, so on LA, go ahead and hit it too. See the sleep proc there. So since the sleep procced, go ahead and chill. We're gonna wait for him a little bit because we got Looming Death. So as you see, it procced his resolve there. So if you happen to have someone with Looming Death, not necessary, but it definitely makes this first fight a whole lot faster. So. And then, you know, just keep going here. Nothing too crazy. He just taunted us all there, so our damage is down until Rue's turn is up. Or I could go ahead and just get rid of it with this. Or almost get rid of it. That takes debuffs down 1 turn, so... 1 turn less duration, rather. But this guy, when he's low, you might not get to see it so much since Looming Death proc, but he has a cone attack that attacks 3 people 4 times. So be careful when you're attacking, and you know, he might get the counter and then he might do that, and that might take out someone squishier like a Rue or a Ruby, depending on what's going on, you know. He gets that crit. And yeah, everything's going well. There it is right there, you see what I'm saying? They just got Ruby, so got some passive heals going. I'm actually gonna wait for Rue's heal. So I'm also not going to provoke him. But as you see there, the passive regen going on for most of the team. You can see all that recovery amount right over here in the window. And so whenever Ruby goes down, and she'll go down a couple times, you just get her back up. Hit this dude as hard as you can. That's why you have 2 revives. And whenever someone's low, go ahead. Use some of the active heals. Try to get your tank to get either the attack decrease or taunt. You see she went down there again. This is actually a lower ruby than I normally bring, so that's a point of contention. Hopefully she'll be able to last. I'm actually going to defend with her this time. If she goes down again, I don't have a res for at least another 3 turns. I definitely do not want to go into the next fight without her. We got the brand up. Gonna help us do some damage there. There's the attack decrease. And yeah, so since she's low, I'm gonna go ahead and burn her heal, because that little spinning thing, that's Cordelia's passive. Basically, if someone targets her, it's gonna instead be redirected at Cordelia. So that'll come more in handy later. And we're pretty much done almost. So right when you get into the second fight, you're going to be facing Ronin. A lot of you use Ronin as fodder. You need to stop and build this guy. He's actually really good. Starts right with his ult right off. So you got to have that beefy tank. Hopefully. Or whoever he targets, you got to have that res ready for him. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, real quick. Let me show you his buffs, debuffs. So he's got resolve, obviously. I've never seen Looming Death proc on him, so I'm just going to assume it doesn't out of 6 fights. This guy is the reason you gotta bring Ruby. You can't just bring like a Saya or someone that does deeps, because he has this decreased damage taken from elemental. So my Saya can crit Decane for 100k. She'll crit him for 8k. So you see his life there, it's going to take a very long time. So what you want to do in this phase, it's going to be for 2 turns. He's basically going to, you know, just put out standard deeps. Get debuffs on him, try to get defense downs on him when you can. Now right here, when he shouts like that, he just put up an evasion buff, a critical strike chance increase, and increased attack. So you have to be really careful, because one of the things on his kit, every time he dodges, he gets 8% attack, and that stacks up to 5 times. So I usually cut off who's allowed to attack from now on. It's only Ruby, and I only attack with her 1, because it is a sad day if you miss with her 2 and her 3. So he dodged it there, that means he has 8% more attack. I also attack with my tank, try to get the taunt, because otherwise he's probably going to end up killing Ruby here. Defend with everyone else. And luckily he targeted my tank there, so everything was cool. Tank's a little low, so I'm going to go ahead, heal her up a bit. Depending on how the turn cooldowns go, his buffs are gone now after he does his ultimate. So just go ahead, start hitting them with as many cooldowns as possible, other than your tank, obviously. Try to get defense down. There it is. Ryu's doing like no damage. So now he just buffed again, so... You know, if you have a stronger party than me, you know, it's your prerogative whether you want to attack because maybe your tank's a little bit better. But for me, and then also watch those multi-strikes, because if you miss twice, that's 16% more damage he's doing. Same thing with counters. So now he's doing 32. There goes Ruby right there. So luckily it's Ryu's turn right after. Ruby gets up, super pissed, gonna whoop his ass. And just go ahead, you know, burn your 2s, burn your 3s on occasion. Hope for some procs. Those buffs are back, and it's basically rinse and repeat. Pretty much everything you've seen right now, that's exactly what this boss is going to do. Only thing that's going to change is sometimes he'll be taunted, sometimes he won't be. In that case, there goes Ruby again. I got to turn until my next res is up, so we just gotta deal with it. Now, danger zones in this, while I'm fighting this out, the danger zones in this dungeon, if you're running a similar group to this, At least the three, Ruby, Ramu, and Cordelia. If Cordelia goes down, hey, you got 2 rezzers. But if one rezzer goes down, you gotta be really careful with your other rezzer. Like, seriously, do not attack, do not provoke counters, try to get taunts off, etc. Keep them topped off, especially with this guy and the next guy. You do not want both your healers dying. In this case, he hit Cordelia again, got my Riz, and get Ruby up. Oh no, I just hit 3. I totally thought that was gonna be Ruby's turn, I forgot that wasn't Ru. So now, I did a new thing, I gotta build up my stacks again. Because she's not gonna get as much passive healing anymore. Luckily, she's still got the rune healing, but I'm still in the danger zone, so... Go ahead and top her off there. Luckily, she's back up to 3 stacks now. And there you go, the little protection thing. If this guy targeted her, it went back onto Cordelia. And just rinse and repeat, per usual. I actually kind of let her get a bit low there, so I'm gonna go ahead. Make sure, just in case. So you guys should pretty much see what's going on here now. Just gonna try to get through it as quickly as possible, because that's the other part about this dungeon. Everyone is pretty beefy, so be prepared for that. Pick your spots on your deeps for this guy. So in that case you saw there, I pretty much, even though he dodged Cordelia and got that 8% buff, she hit him with the 30% down buff, so in that case he actually crit. Yeah, 9,000 damage, wow. But we got lucky, nothing happened. But imagine if that mistake I made earlier, imagine that happened and Cordelia had no Searing Rage stacks. That would have been an issue. I totally shouldn't have marked that there. Okay, I need to like calm down, I'm making mistakes. There, that hit wasn't as hard. So Ru, if you happen to take Ruin on her 1, she doesn't heal every time like other healers, but when she does heal though, it is a lot of healing. So, go ahead, top her off. We got that double heal that just came out, one from the passive, one from the active. And rinse and repeat, you know, standard stuff now. Yeah, normally I take in like a 4 purple star Ruby. But you know, this Ruby's getting the job done too, so it's no big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and pass, wait for Ru's, because Ru's res, single res is better. Use Ramu's as a backup. Resetting cooldowns, turn speed increase, and attack buff. All that's really good when you get Ruby back up. You got the taunt off and the attack decrease. Reduced his damage just a little bit. Oh, there's our that Cordelia heal. He's got his buffs back up. Now, some of you might be saying, well, how come you're not trying to dispel it with Rue? Because when this guy counters, A, it doesn't happen all the time. The majority of the time, I honestly, because she'll miss. You can still dispel buffs and proc effects when you miss, but I would rather just not provoke the wrath, because Ruby hits, or excuse me, Rue hits so many times. I don't want that buff going much higher. So we're almost through his first life here. Normally I'd heal her, but she's got that, that damage immunity there, so don't have to worry about it for now. You only have to worry about it if it's his ult that's coming. So there's his first life. And if some of you are asking me how come I'm not using Ellie's 3, number one, he's taking reduced damage from anyone that's not wind. And number two, Ellie's 3, the only effect it has, other than the damage, is it puts up Mark. Mark when you're in a single target dungeon, you know, not gonna do anything for you really, so. But yeah, take advantage of this increased recovery amount. For sure. Again, save your 2 and your 3 on Ruby when he puts his buff up. So you see there, if he gets his multi-attack on the same turn, that's 10,300 damage on the stats I showed you from what my Cordelia has. So this second guy, he can put out the deeps. Definitely try to get debuffs on him when possible. Almost made a mistake there. Luckily, Ruby hasn't gone down too many times since the beginning of this fight, so we're looking pretty good. You just gotta kind of eyeball after a while the recovery amounts that you can expect. And, you know, you'll know whether you need to burn an active heal or not to keep Cordelia up. He's almost down, fam. So, real quick. Oh no, she killed him. Oh, that's horrible. You do not want to go in this fight with that low of health on your Cordelia. Now, luckily he's self-buffed at the beginning. Alright, so things to know about Taiyo when you get here. His buffs, he's got the same resolve. Inflicts additional damage when counterattacking, that's really important. More on that later. If you brought a water hero here, don't do it, because he restores HP from water heroes. And then this right here, Pain Relief. Greatly decreases damage taken from skill 3 for the first 5 turns of his first 5 turns. So do not start out with your ultimates if you happen to have them up at this stage. Just use your 2s and your 1s. You see how hard he hit right there? And that was just on a counter, so. He's got a 2 target. It never turns into, I don't think it turns into a 3 target. It might actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But, you know. So you'll be burning more active heals here. But it's the same kind of setup. Oh, I missed it. I'll have to do it later. But when he used that one skill, that little 2-3 target, his counterattack chance goes down. So you want to start hitting with your weaker heroes when that happens most of the time. Like I'll show you here. So see that counter? If Rue didn't have shield, she was probably going to lose more than half of her life. So, and I made a mistake. I shouldn't have used a 3. Oh well, that's the way it goes. So, right now, I got the choice. I can heal up or I can try to do a little deeps here. By the way, this guy, he does not have the same elemental damage reduction, so he does take full damage from everything that's not water. He takes additional damage from wind, but he takes full damage otherwise from the other heroes here. But do not be fooled. This guy can hit really hard in much the same way that the last Ronin did. Be very careful if you're at like 75% health and you decide you're going to hit him. And he counters, and then he, you know, he does his move. So there's a decreased counterattack. It's 80% on his kit. But I know he has a multi-strike, like, guarantee on one of his passives, so... So he'll just attempt the devil, I'll try to show you guys. But it's much the same thing, you know, like... Try to get any dot you can on him. See how much damage he does just on his straight counters. You can attack a little bit more freely with Ramu than you can with Rue. Luckily her cooldown thing is proccing there. The Ruby is going to be your bread and butter in here, whatever wind DPS you happen to have. So it might be the new hero, might be one of the older heroes. People are low, so I'm going to go ahead and heal there. And I know that even if he counters Ramu, Ramu's still going to heal a bit at the end of her turn. Got that attack decrease on him. Once that's on as well, you can think more about countering, because he's doing 30% less damage. Right here, you see that little circle shield thing. That's Cordelia's protection. So go ahead and attack. Any counter is going to go straight to Cordelia. He has a funny voice actor. And yeah, once again, this guy's really beefy, so... You're gonna be at this for a bit. But it is possible, like I said earlier, all you need is one of the three. You need either any combination of Cordelia, Ruby, and Ramu, and then you need to borrow friends. Now, if you have all three of them, then consider borrowing another Ruby or another Cordelia, double defense, maybe another Ramu instead of a Rue. You understand what I mean? And just keep hammering them, man. That was a nice hit right there. And you see all that damage he just put on her? About 6,000 almost right there. Another pretty much 10,000, a little less, like around 9,000, but obviously pretty crazy. So since she's low, I want to keep her up, so I'll get her that heal. And we're just going to keep going. The cool part about this combo too is when Ellie puts herself to sleep, Rue's dispelling it. That's not always ideal, but in this case it is, because Ellie's very rarely the target. Now, we're coming up on something that's going to happen when he gets to half health there. So when we get there, I'm not even going to say anything, just watch what happens. Corsair punch. People are low, but Passive heal should take care of it. I got that defense down on him. Alright, should be coming now. Now watch. I'm gonna go ahead and heal. Wham! So what happened there is a preview of things to come. So you see the damage he dealt, and he also did it to Ramu as well, standing right next to her. So this kind of puts me in the danger zone because I have one healer up, my deeps is down. So I need to be really careful what I do right now. So obviously, I want my tank to do things. Luckily, you don't have to deal with that move again until he gets to his first resolve. So go ahead, get Ramu up. Same turn, get Ruby up. He's amping his deeps a little bit now, but not too much. He's gonna do that, what's basically his 2. That little group attack more. So it's the same as always, you know, just go through it. Pick your spots when you want to attack. And rinse and repeat, fam. Rinse and repeat. Right now, he's not countering as much, and he has an attack down. So you can hit him a little bit with your squishier heroes. Ramu, not so squishy, even though she's only 57. The heck, what was that? I wonder if that's a bug. Huh. Because what happened there was a regen for everybody as they were getting hit. I wonder if he was hitting Ruby, but because of the damage reflection, it started healing everybody. That was odd. Yeah. Well, I won't say anything if you won't, okay? Anywho. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Now, obviously, we got some people that are low, so don't be afraid to burn one active heal, you know. Save a couple for emergency, if possible. Lots of passive healing going on with this team. He's got the brand on him. Take a little bit, 30% more damage. So she's got the redirect, so go ahead and hit him. He might counter, but it would have been on Cordelia if he was going to counter there, so... Eyeballing it here. Really looks like she's okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attack. Protection's up. Protection, the way it works, from what I remember, I haven't read it in a bit, but basically it's like someone that's lower, or the lowest person's health, always has a chance to get that protection whenever something happens with Cordelia, whether she's getting attacked or etc. So we got him pretty low now. I bet you guys might be watching this thinking, oh, this is easy. Fight's gonna change pretty soon. Go ahead and get our deeps back up. I gotta be a little more careful. Things are gonna get real pretty quick here. He's starting to ramp up. So this guy, he doesn't have a burn down. Instead, what's gonna end up happening is you're gonna take his first life, and then that move that you saw earlier when he was at half health, he's gonna start performing that move every other turn. So you have to be really well aware of that and time it. I am actually not going to provoke any attacks against him with weaker characters anymore. Unless either the attack, that right there, the attack decrease debuff is up, or his doesn't counter as much cooldown thing is up. Which is that little shield one right there. By the way, I'll show you guys if it comes to it, but Cordelia can actually solo him if they're alone in the second phase, so... Might not happen this run, but if it doesn't, I will teach you what to do anyways. Yeah. Need to get a heal for Rue there. Now Rue, her days are numbered because she's standing next to Cordelia. But we're gonna go ahead and try to keep her up as long as we can. Oh, you see he's low, there he goes. Alright, so that's his resolve. You saw there. Cordelia ate that and Rue was part of it too, so Rue's passive proc there. I am no longer gonna mess with this guy because he's basically, the next turns, if you notice, he puts his weakness reveal thing up. That means your guy's next crit, so it only has a turn duration, so but if you have like a healer versus like even a hybrid, make sure your hybrid's hitting. So in this case, get a little bit of damage there. So right here, you notice Cordelia's really low. She has all her stacks, but I don't want her because he can actually crit his ulti move that he's gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and defend. Unfortunately, that means that we're not gonna have taunt up or anything like that. And there goes Rue. Don't even worry about whoever's standing next to Cordelia unless it's someone like that's kind of tanky and can take it. But it's fine, you can do this phase without Rue. You know, don't waste the revive. Especially right before his turn. You might need to revive later, but we'll see how it goes. So in this case, weakness reveals up again. I'm gonna go ahead. Might as well do some deeps there. So, go ahead, try to get the taunt off. You see the good job that Cordelia does tanking this. Go ahead. Heals up. I'm trying to put Brand up with Ellie's auto, or Ellie's 1 rather. So once again, people are pretty low, so if I had the healing cooldown, I'd use it, but instead, just gonna attack. When you got one healer like this too, be careful. Because, you know, you never know exactly what he might do. He might actually target someone on the end here. But the main goal of this is keep Ruby up as long as possible. I'm gonna go ahead and start passing now with my healer. So you see Ruby goes down. So now, next time I get a chance, I'm gonna go ahead and revive her. Rue's gonna come up as a little bonus, go right back down, because maids went on strike or something. And you know, just try to get them. Defend every turn with Cordelia, where she's about to take that. And then you see here, weakness is revealed. The stars have finally aligned so that Ruby can get her ult off. For some reason that didn't do much damage. I think he also takes reduced damage after he uses his 2 sometimes, so. And once again, that beastly regen really doing work here. I'll go ahead and heal just because I want her at full. Also, forgot to say that earlier, this can stun you. If you have Cordelia alone, go ahead and just defend. Her regen is still going to be going, but obviously she can't attack with her follow-up, so as you see there. So now that if you attack with him, he's going to counter Cordelia. When you have Cordelia like this, be extremely careful because, you know, she might eat a counter, then she might eat a multi-attack, then she might eat another counter with someone else. So just be careful. I'm not even going to attack. Right there. But once again, if you get in a situation where it's just him and Cordelia, have Cordelia attack when she's not stunned as long as he's not ulting the next turn. If he's ulting the next turn, defend. Get that defense bonus so you can tank it, because if he crits on that and gets a multi, he might go through most of her life bar. And you know, adjust when you need to. If she's low already and she has the opportunity to attack, hey, just defend. You know, if she's at like say 20 to 30%, just defend, because she might provoke that counter, and then next turn he gets his regular attack, then he multis. Now Cordelia, even when you defend with her, she's going to be at like 60, 70%, and if he crits with his ultimate, he could kill her. So just be very aware of that. Go ahead, get a little bit impatient here. That is it. That, my friends, is how you deal with Taiyo. So you could see the build I gave you earlier. You know, you can mix or match the other two heroes, but you definitely need Ramu. Definitely need Ruby and Cordelia. If you manage to get two of one of them, that is great too. Unfortunately, I did not get a drop. That sucks, but oh well. He has the chance to drop double too, so keep that in mind. Otherwise, you know, it's up to you guys. You saw what works for me in this video. What works for you might be something different, but definitely hit those stat benchmarks. Cordelia makes this fight so much easier. It's just ridiculous with that Syrian Rage. Yeah, guys, so that's your guide for the Taiyo 4-star Advent. I'm ShowtimeDr on Twitch. Come check me out, twitch.tv/ShowtimeDr. I'm also on YouTube, obviously. There's a link to my Twitter in the description. And yeah, farm hard, get strong. And you know, the build-up, you know, say you have Ramu or maybe Ruby or Cordelia in your thing right now. They're not upgraded all the way. You got one more day of double Evo. I built up Cordelia in 2 days. And I built up Ramu in 1 day. Because I literally just got her with my 28-day selector ticket 2 days ago. And I wasn't even upgrading her because I was still upgrading Cordelia the other day. So you can get this up in a day, 2 days. There's still 8 more days left to farm Taiyo. So get in on it. Get him as a characters at least. I'm personally not going to fodder him. I'm going to fodder Britain. Taiyo looks like a lot better in my opinion. But anyways, guys. Take care, peace, good luck to you on this dungeon.